Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope everybody's morning is going great. And last night was amazing, guys. We had some really good Overwatch League matches, starting off with that Dallas Fuel LA Valiant game. The two teams who made the most moves over the offseason, they went head to head and it was an absolute classic. TAIMOU made his return to DPS. We're going to talk about that, as well as everything that happened after the match. Because what is a Dallas Fuel match without all the drama, spicy tweets after the match? It's like a ritual at this point. I just love going on Twitter, social media, and checking out what the Dallas Fuel players are saying after their devastating loss. Now that I think about that, that kind of sounds toxic. Whatever. Gotta get the juice for the boys. So we're going to first talk about that match, then after I'm going to cover all of the things that were said on Twitter after, from TAIMOU, Effect, Kai, all the good stuff. After that was the San Francisco Shock, Shanghai Dragons. They went head-to-head. Unfortunately, my prediction did not come through. The Shanghai Dragons are still winless. We'll cover that game, as well as the very last one, where the LA Gladiators upset the Seoul Dynasty. And if you're new here, guys, do not forget, click the subscribe button. It's super easy. I upload daily content like this. You'll never miss out on anything Overwatch League related. As well as that, I'm giving away 10 Overwatch League jerseys, so click the gleam.io link to enter down below. And now, let's just hop right into it. The Dallas Fuel LA Valiant. They definitely put on a show for us, and it does seem like this could be the beginning of a huge rivalry, especially after their offseason trade. And this match was very close, surprisingly close. The LA Valiant so far this stage have looked absolutely stunning. Prior to this match, they were 12-0 this stage so far, not dropping a map to Seoul Dynasty, Shanghai Dragons, or the San Francisco Shock. Of course, the Dallas Fuel have looked like they've been improving over the past couple weeks as well. They had close matches against Seoul Dynasty. Sure, they did lose to the LA Gladiators fairly easily, but they also got a win over the Shanghai Dragons. So it's been like a decent performance for them so far over this stage. Nothing like the LA Valiant though, so coming into this match, I didn't expect them to be able to put up much of a fight, but they were able to put up a good fight and it actually delivered us an amazing match. Every single map was really entertaining, starting off with Volskaya. It seemed like the LA Valiant were maybe going to run away with the set, especially when they capped both points with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left, and then the Dallas Fuel were really struggling on their attack, barely capping first with any time left, and then attacking point B, they also struggled again, barely capping with 9 seconds left. And these 9 seconds were huge, very crucial, because if the LA Valiant were able to stall for 9 more seconds, then the Dallas Fuel wouldn't have had another opportunity to attack. And it would have just been the LA Valiant trying to get the first tick off of the first point, and that would have given them the map win. But that didn't happen. They had those 9 seconds left, and then the Dallas Fuel went on their second attack, and they steamed through both points. And now, we had a match, and the LA Valiant were put on the back foot. Having to push both points and cap them with 4 minutes left, they were hardly able to do it with only 20 seconds left at the end. So what seemed like was going to be a stomp turned into an absolutely amazing map. It went all the way down to the wire. Both teams had really good attacks. Both teams struggled on attack, thus ending in a 4-4 draw. For Volskaya, I think this was OGE's best map so far in the Overwatch League. He played absolutely amazing. He had some really clutch plays. Specifically, one was on their second attack when they capped point B. He looked really good on this map, and overall, the Dallas Fuel actually looked amazing on this map. Effect played great. AKM was getting a lot of kills. OGE, I just mentioned. Unco got a lot of opening picks. He surprised me. Mickey held his own. As for the LA Valiant, it was a little bit of a different story. It wasn't a full team effort. Kind of looked like Bunny and Soon were carrying the weight most of the time. Regardless though, it made for a good map. Then we moved on to Nubani, and this one was very interesting because this was one of the maps that Dallas Fuel beat Seoul Dynasty on, and they looked fairly good on it. In my opinion, probably one of their strongest maps. And more specifically for AKM and Effect, these two seem to do really good when they're on Nubani. There's a lot of high ground and range for AKM to take with his hit scan, and for Effect, there's a lot of flanking routes, a lot of sneaky things he can do, and I think combining those two playstyles together is really good, because you got AKM raining hell from above and far away, trying to worry about that, and you can't focus on the tracer, and then Effect comes in from behind and he just absolutely cleans up. Also, on their defenses, they're so good at keeping that first point alive. At certain points, it seems so bad for them, like they're going to lose the fight, they're down in numbers, they're going to lose the point, and they just claw their way back in it, exactly how I just mentioned. Effect on the side, surviving, AKM pelting shots from long range, and they end up turning it with the survivability of OGE and Mickey as well. So kudos to them. They look really good on Nubani, specifically that first point defense, which is what gave them the win on this map. Sure, they struggled a little bit defending second and third, but their attack was absolutely amazing. We saw AKM bust out the Pharah, which I think is probably the only hero outside of his hit scan hero pool that he can play at a high level. It's definitely like a surprise pocket pick and can work very well on these awkward points where a Pharah is actually good. I've said it for a while though, I think AKM is a great Pharah when there isn't a Pharah on the enemy team. He's really good at throwing those rockets out and hitting the tanks, chunking them down, one-shotting supports or DPS players, but when he has to duel another Pharah, it kind of becomes a struggle for him. So Numbani first point attack is actually a perfect scenario to run him on Pharah. So Dallas Fuel ended up taking this map, and overall, like I said, this is probably one of their best maps in the entire pool. And also, this was the first map that the Los Angeles Valiant had lost during the stage. As I mentioned earlier, they were 12-0 heading into this match. And it's not like they were going up against weak opponents. They beat Seoul Dynasty, San Francisco Shock, two fairly decent teams. So Dallas Fuel taking a 1-0 lead in the set, showing signs of life. All they needed to do is win one of the next two maps and they win the set. Sounds super easy, right? Oh yeah, buddy, right? Yeah, let's put TAIMOU in. Good idea. All right, we'll get into that. So it's Ilios now, right, guys? Probably the deciding factor of this set. It was an extremely close map overall. Effect, OGE, and Mickey, they all looked great on this map. Absolutely amazing. On the side of LA Valiant, Kareev looked great, Space looked great, Soon looked great, Agilities looked great, Fate looked great, Custa looked great. It was honestly a great map. It seemed like everybody individually was performing great. And because of this, we got an amazing show. Unfortunately for the Dallas Fuel though, it seemed like one of their DPS players probably wasn't playing at the best. And I definitely have to call them out on this. I get it. You want to give TAIMOU some time. He's been out for a while. You forced him onto Winston. It's probably been crappy for him. It really has. And I do feel for him on that level. But Dallas Fuel, you're in a situation where you're possibly going to win your first set in a pretty long time that wasn't against the Shanghai Dragons. And let me put this in perspective for you guys. In the last 12 matches that the Dallas Fuel have played, they've won one of them. And it was against the Shanghai Dragons. So the Dallas Fuel and their fans are very hungry for a win. You just went up 1-0 going into the third map against the LA Valiant, a team who has looked phenomenal during the stage so far. All you need to do is win one of two maps. Why is your course of action to put TAIMOU in there on DPS for the first time in 2 months, especially when he's been practicing main tank for the last 2 months? This is a huge map, very crucial, and in my opinion, it seems like you would want to put in the players that are probably going to give you the win. And from the outside looking in, it's just not TAIMOU. It really is not TAIMOU. Maybe, just maybe there's some inside information from the Dallas Fuel that would make sense of putting TAIMOU in there on Ilios, but I just don't see it right now. I really don't. So let's go ahead and just look at the stats and see how TAIMOU performed. Starting off with the rating for the match. TAIMOU overall had the lowest rating from any DPS or tank or off tank. That means only supports had a lower rating than him on this map. Now let's look at fight win percentage. When he was on McCree, his team only won 27% of the fights. And he played McCree for about 70% of this match, and had the lowest fight win percentage out of anybody else on any hero in the game that played something for more than 30% of the game. Which only eliminates small things like Custa swapping over to Lucio for 2 minutes, or Harry Hook swapping over to Lucio, or even TAIMOU's 2 minutes on Widowmaker, where he got 0 kills, died a ton, and had a 0% win rate on that as well. Now we look at percentage of team kills. He is lower than every other DPS in the game, lower than Mickey, lower than OGE, and slightly ahead of Fate on McCree. As for his Junkrat and Widowmaker, they're below everybody else, even some supports. Now looking at kills per 10 minutes, his McCree and Junkrat are lower than any other DPS in the game, as well as Fate, Space, Mickey, only above OGE and other support players. Now looking at deaths per 10 minutes, by far has the most deaths per 10 minutes, sitting at 13.74 on Widowmaker and 9.06 on McCree. He died way more than any tanks, any supports, and specifically any other DPS player in the game. And now this stat is the one that really gets me. It makes me think that, wow, TAIMOU was really non-effective in this match. Because, you know, all these other previous stats, there could be excuses, you know, maybe other players were taking his last hits for eliminations. Maybe he was just getting focused hard and dived a lot, so he died. Whatever you want to say, you can make a ton of excuses. But for this one, it's almost inexcusable. We're looking at time to charge ult. TAIMOU on McCree, which again, he played for about 60 to 70% of this matchup. He's the third worst ranked player on a specific hero with time to charge ult, sitting at 123 seconds per McCree ult, only above Custa on Mercy and Fate on Winston. It took TAIMOU on McCree over 2 minutes to charge a McCree ult on average. And to be fair, I think McCree is one of the faster charging ults in the game. You shouldn't be sitting up there with like Winston. And now something to maybe compare it to, when Soon played McCree in this match, he charged a McCree ult on average of 55 seconds. Sure, the sample size is a little bit different, but that's pretty crazy. Over double the time faster. And I get it, maybe stats don't tell the whole story, right? But when they look this bad in every single category, There's definitely probably something wrong. And overall, if you look at the whole situation, obviously it just doesn't make sense. TAIMOU hasn't played a game as DPS in over 2 to 3 months. He has spent most of his time practicing and preparing for Winston play. You were looking for one of your first wins in your past 12 matches who isn't against a team that is 0-24. Overall, it makes no sense to have put TAIMOU in there on Ilios when you're up 1-0. It just does not make sense. All you need to do is win one more map, and it's yours. You get the victory. And I know I've repeated these facts multiple times in this video, but I want you guys to understand how much of a mistake this was. If we would have just had AKM or Rascal in there, the chances of winning would have gone up exponentially. Especially considering that AKM has looked pretty decent on the McCree so far. If you want to run a hit scan, he would probably have been the best option. So do I think putting in TAIMOU on Ilios lost them this set? Yeah, I kind of do. And this map was extremely close. It was decided by one team fight. Having Rasker or AKM in there would have given you a better chance. So very questionable coaching decision coming out from Kai, and I think a lot of people agree with me. If you look at the Twitch chat replay from the match, they were absolutely going off. Why is TAIMOU in here? What is going on? Why TAIMOU? Why? So many questions in the chat. So that's the general consensus. And after that match, TAIMOU took to Twitter and he said this. I'm not even going to read what he said. I'll just put a screenshot right here. I mean, I get it. I feel for the guy, man. I do. It's a crappy situation. But you also have to understand you have fans that are so hungry for a win. Sorry, but not sorry, TAIMOU. Putting you in on this map is not what is best for the Dallas Fuel to win. It is not. And now let's go ahead and take a look at what Kai said. GG's LA Valiant Heart Custa. Someone on Twitter in response said this. 90,000 IQ. Best coach in the world. Please enlighten a bronze player like me why you sub TAIMOU in for AKM when their hero pulls are the same and AKM is warmed up and doing an okay job. Kaikai's response, sure. This was planned, expecting LA Valiant to run 3 tanks on runes. TAIMOU has a very good Junkrat to complement his hit scan hero pool. Thus, we chose TAIMOU as the best fit for the map within our strategy. Unfortunately, we lost the map, but it's a team game. Okay, so it seems like Kaikai's reasoning for running TAIMOU was so they can counter the triple tank with a Junkrat. Well, if you want to do that, why not just run Rascal? Probably has a better Junkrat than TAIMOU, and honestly has a better hit scan than TAIMOU right now too. We've actually seen Rascal recently run the McCree and look pretty damn good. Also, Reaper, if you want to counter triple tank, which is also what LA Valiant was running, you could run Rascal on Reaper. He's great at that hero too. It just does not make sense to run TAIMOU here. It really doesn't. And that's fact. I don't have anything else to say about it. And honestly, that was the story of the match. We moved on to Route 66. It wasn't all that close. Sure, if they would have won this map, they could have won the set as well. And in no way form am I giving them excuses to lose Route 66. I just believe the momentum, the motivation, anything that was going in Dallas Fuel's favor was thrown out the window after that Ilios loss because it was so close. It was such a crushing defeat, and you could have won it if you had a better player in there in place of TAIMOU. Especially when knowing Route 66 is one of Dallas Fuel's worst maps. Every single time they play it, they get rolled over. And specifically their star player, who has been carrying them for the past 3 weeks like absolutely nothing else, Effect, has never performed well on this map either. He has consistently done really honestly nothing on this map, going negative by almost double digits multiple times. So again, it just doesn't make sense to do what you did on Ilios when you had the momentum. On Route 66, Bunny, he went 22-6, just destroying the Dallas Fuel. Effect, 6-14, literally non-effective. The worst rating out of anybody on this map. Space, 14-5, Soon, 13-4, Kareev, 11-5, Fate, 10-4. They walked all over them. It was just a stomp. 70 kills to 24, 13 team fights to 2. Dallas Fuel consistently have not been good at this map at all. And that was it for this set, guys. LA Valiant took it 2-1. Dallas Fuel, another crushing defeat. And this was Effect's heartfelt message to the fans after. Thank you for the translation, Robin311. Effect said this: "We lost again. Ever since the Overwatch League started, I thought we tried our best, but we are still lacking. I knew this would be a hard journey beforehand, but experiencing it myself, the word give up almost came up to the end of my mouth. I've done so many embarrassing things, including trash talking in social media and streams, and venting my anger on my teammates, and I think there is many fans who are disappointed by that. But the certain thing is, I am still enduring with my teeth clenched, and I will try my best to change the team that is the Dallas Fuel step by step. We can't keep losing forever. The best team tag seems so far away that it's almost invisible, but I also believe there is no space for us to fall as well. The third stage, the fourth, season 2, season 3, afterwards. I'm going to try to make sure that the most difficult moment of my life was this period. Thank you for always supporting us amongst the controversy, drama. I will fix the bad parts, maximize the good parts, and become a perfect, cool pro gamer. Thank you. Thank you to everyone in the Discord. I will try to communicate more. And of course, after the match, when I saw Effect said something pretty long on Twitter, I was like, oh man, he's probably throwing his team under the bus. He's probably complaining, making excuses, doing the typical Effect thing. But it was actually pretty different this time. He took a step forward. He apologized for all the things he's done, specifically like throwing blame on his teammates, trash-talking other people, and kind of took responsibility. Saying things like he almost gave up and this is the hardest time of his life is really sad, and I do feel for him, because I can only imagine how draining and desperate these players are for victories. And I feel like a coaching change still needs to be made. Kaika has still shown to this point that he's not good at his job. Whether it's bad coaching decisions or whatever he's saying on Twitter fighting with fans, or literally getting caught lying to two of your players, making them hate each other, they need to change in direction in the coaching. In my opinion, they need to get a hard-working Korean coach that has proven himself. And sure, you guys can all be like, oh, Michael, you're just riding the Koreans. You always say, oh, just get a Korean and everything will be fixed. Well, I mean, if you look at it logically, they have 3 Korean players, OGE, Rascal, Effect, probably the 3 best players on the team. We also know that the Korean mentality of try-harding usually works and makes a team really good. It just makes sense. Getting a Korean coach would help this team win. I understand that some of you guys probably don't want them to go full Korean, but if you want the Dallas Fuel to win, that is just simply the route you take. And yeah, the team has been improving a lot lately, but if they had that Korean coach, they would improve 10 times faster. And I believe confidently that 99.99% they probably would have won this match today because they wouldn't have put TAIMOU in on Ilios. So that's it for this match. That's it for the Dallas Fuel and everything they had to say after it. This has been a huge part of this video. I really wanted to go in detailed about this matchup. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about my thoughts and what your thoughts were on the match as well. And now let's go ahead and move on to the second match yesterday, which was the Shanghai Dragons and the San Francisco Shock. All right. My prediction was wrong. I felt it in the air. I thought the Shanghai Dragons were going to be able to take this match. What I am happy about, though, it was actually very close. It was an exciting one. It wasn't the typical match where Shanghai Dragons just get completely stomped out. We started off on Anubis, went all the way down to the very last team fight. San Francisco Shock, they came out clutch. Dante, phenomenal performance in this set, and on Anubis specifically. Sinatra, he looked great as well. It was kind of a battle of like which DPS players could carry harder. Obviously, San Francisco Shock, they had more power with Dante, Sinatra, and Architect, but Addo played really well in this match. He went 69-40, and then we moved on to Nubani, and another extremely close match. Went all the way down to the very last team fight. Throughout the map, Shanghai Dragons did look like the better team. But at the very end, when Shanghai, all they had to do was cap the first tick on the first point with 4 minutes left to win the game, San Francisco Shock, they put on a crazy hold all the way down to the very last team fight. But Shanghai, they came through on that last team fight. Addo had a nice blade and they took it. Overall, these 2 first maps were so close and so exciting. Let's go ahead and combine the kills and team fight wins for each team from these first 2 maps to put it in perspective on how close this actually was. So on Anubis and Nubani combined, the San Francisco Shock won 23 team fights and the Shanghai Dragons won 22. Now looking at the kills, the San Francisco Shock had 132 on both these maps and the Shanghai Dragons had 132. Yeah, extremely nail biting. Every single team fight went down to the last kill. Every single map went down to the last fight. It was great to watch. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Oh, and something I want to point out. Dude, the crowd was going nuts for the Shanghai Dragons. Specifically on Nubani when they won. You could just see the excitement. Was there a bunch of Chinese fans that were flown in or something? Because they were just going nuts for Shanghai, which made the match overall even more hyped. Moving on to Ilios, this map really wasn't all that close. San Francisco Shock, they dominated. Architect and Sinatra, insane performance. Architect went 18-1 on this map. That's phenomenal. Sinatra 21-5. They did mad work together. Moving on to Junkertown, we had another close match going all the way down to the very last team fight. Specifically, Geguri, she had a great performance on this map. Her diva was on point, and this was definitely one of the first times I noticed her doing a lot of work. So good for her. And overall, again, like I said, it was super close. Team fights in favor of San Francisco Shock, they had 11. Shanghai Dragons had 10. Shanghai Dragons had 64 kills, and San Francisco Shock had 58. So overall, an incredible set. My prediction was super close to being right. Unlucky that it wasn't, but exciting Overwatch is the main thing I ask for. If my predictions are wrong, they're wrong. Doesn't really matter that much to me. But overall, that's pretty much it for this set. The 3 DPS players for San Francisco Shock played amazing. And now let's go to move on to that last set, which was Seoul Dynasty and the LA Gladiators. So overall, this was a somewhat close match. I know it went to game 5, but the San Francisco Shock and Shanghai Dragons match was much closer than this one. We started off on Anubis, and this one was pretty close. It did go down to one of the last team fights. Blizzard World was more dominated by the Gladiators, and so was Nepal. Even though they dropped around, the ones they won were pretty convincingly. Then moving on to Junkertown, again, a fairly close map, but Seoul Dynasty, they took it. And the last one, Oasis, the Gladiators, they dominated. This was their match to win, and I was really excited to see Fisher back, Hydration in their full time. This is the roster that I was expecting them to run against the other teams, and the one that gives them the most chance of winning, in my opinion. Hydration all around the best projectile player on the team. The only thing is, Surefour was in there for Asher because Asher is currently in Korea. Not too sure why he's in Korea. But to be honest, it wasn't like Asher was really missed. Surefour's Tracer has been really good, and I think he's been covering that role at a very high level. And honestly, I wouldn't have expected him to play this well either. So big shout out to Surefour there. Really happy for him to be able to put up such a good performance, taking out Seoul Dynasty. Something that they couldn't do last stage, they were able to do this stage. Now, I know Fleta did exit the set after game 1. Apparently, he had some medical issues or wasn't feeling well. He was sick. And we saw Munchkin and Wakid for the last 4 map. But honestly, I don't know if it would have made that much of a difference if they had Fleta. I know he played really good in their last couple matches, but overall, Wakid didn't play that bad. I think he had some good performances. His Genji's really good. His Junkrat's really good. And LA Gladiators, they clearly look like the better team on most of the maps. And that's actually a really big win for them overall for the Stage 3 standings and the entire standings for the regular playoffs. Currently in Stage 3, they're now top 4. With a decent chance if they keep winning, they'll make the Stage 4 playoffs. As for the overall league playoffs, they're sitting in 8th place. And with this win, they tie the Houston Outlaws and now are only 2 matches behind the LA Valiant and the Philadelphia Fusion. And if they can keep getting some wins, especially off of teams like Seoul Dynasty, Philadelphia Fusion, Boston, and LA Valiant, they could have a good chance at making the overall playoffs. And that's basically it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you're new around here, do not forget, click that subscribe button, like the video. I'm giving away 10 Overwatch League jerseys. Click the gleam.io link down below. Also, subscribe to my second channel. Link is down below for that too. And that's it, guys. I'm out of here. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.